live stream. Guess that got fucked up, messed up. See, I'm in the final third of the game now, as I said before. So far I've done the racing, and I've done the drag. Both of them weren't that bad at all. The drag, there was one that was a sprint, and drag cars aren't made for all those turns, and it kind of got annoying. And that brings me to another point. I've been watching DSP Gaming. That funny dude, I first came in contact with his videos through This Is How You Don't Play series for GTA. I'm talking about the old GTAs from GTA 3 all the way through San Andreas. I actually probably think he did better on the new San Andreas, on the new GTA 5 and even 4, just because, well, I'll say 5 just because it's really dumbed down. And 4 maybe because it's more like a traditional third-person action game, if you will. Man, this cat keeps going up here. But yeah, I think those This Is How You Don't Plays are really illustrative of how ridiculous the dude is. On the other hand, putting that aside, I do think he has a point in this game. I do think it's ridiculous that the drag races, they're not just all straight drags, that some of them are like sprints with turns. Like, that was needlessly, it made it difficult, fair enough. And, not crazy. I didn't try it like 100 times, but a few. And I just don't know how you justify that. And now we come to the bane of my existence, these darn off-road racing games, and I think these ones are just absolute nonsense. And now I think I'm in the third or fourth, and anyway, I'll just pick it up where I left off. But I just find it really hard to keep the car under control. There are all these random ass rocks that poke out. The jumps, assuming if you don't do the jump perfectly, you might land out of bounds. It's just so many different variables, and it's really pissing me off. Now, his argument is, at times, like always, he's like blaming the game when it's him, for sure. But damn, this is the first time I'm like, this guy actually has a little bit of a point when it comes to some of the aspects of this game. Hell, but maybe I'm just as bad as him at a video game for once. That could be it too if I'm on common ground with him, I don't know. So far so good, actually. Okay. This is so when you go off the road, and it's already an off-road race, but when you go off the off-road road, if you will, I think you just go out of control spinning. I need to avoid that, number one. I'm not avoiding it, but I'm rusty. I also didn't notice that this was a lap. That there's 2 laps of this race. It all seems to be new and different each time. Just to show you how bad I am at these races. Well, the good news is all 3 guys are ahead of me are, shit, let me not talk. Oh boy. Awful. The handling is just so painful. And the solution isn't really in my opinion. I might even be better served dumbing down the car. Like, my car is, like 40 points better than these guys. So maybe that's not the motherfucker. The prescription. Maybe I actually want to dumb it down a little bit so that I'm a little bit slower through some of this stuff. Because I just feel out of control. I'm like, damn, can't keep this darn thing straight. Let me at least go through it. I mean, it's a mistake what that dude was doing by continuing to quit. You get points every time, and you get to learn the map, and, I have no problem with continuing to play a level or a map. Like, that shit like that's kind of frustrating. you know, you're not gonna get something the first time or even the third time, hell, you know. But some of these road races, they remind me of some of the more difficult gaming experiences of my life. The one that comes to mind is, oh, everyone's clustered, man. Ah, shoot, I still can't say. Let me restart. Aladdin, Capcom's Aladdin, the NES one, not the Sega Genesis one, which I never played. That carpeting one, where it's like scrolling and you're just on the carpet and you have to move it up and down and avoid the rocks and crags and waves. And, you know, it's essentially just trial and error. You're going to fail, unless you just get some lucky run, but you're going to fail, like, until you realize, until you, you know, start to memorize the course, and then finally beat it. But I remember as a kid that being really difficult. I played it, you know, a few years ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's still kind of tough, but, you know, more so in a kid way than, you know, someone who's been playing games now and is an adult and has been playing games most of his life. But yeah, back then for sure. But this level, this is like the equivalent of that for my adult years. Oh gosh. Still not. Okay, better. And a lot of these races, the trick really is to get the lead. Get the lead. I mean, that sounds obvious, like the person with the most points at the end of the game wins, but I mean, get an early lead, and I think some of the pressure that the cars put on you goes away. And sometimes, like, you'll get a big wreck, and then you're really in good shape. Oh god, awful. I really hate these mother freaking off-road races, man. Ugh. I can't beat it in a couple I'm gonna go. I still have to do the drifting, which that's really easy, and the runner, which I'm pretty comfortable with. I don't think the one thing that frustrates me about that is, like, almost it feels very uneven. So not only was I talking about sort of examples of using tracks or kinds of races with inappropriate cars, for instance the drag, but there are other examples. The drag on the sprint. But then, because cops aren't always here, you know, like in other Need for Speeds, they're not always on the map, it feels like something feels very abrupt about when they do finally emerge, and then you're expected to sort of understand, like, oh yeah, here's now kill switching, even though you barely encountered it in the damn game. But now I want you to contend with something that can really mess you up. I would prefer it just would have been something that you see throughout the game as you're moving through the open world. And then, you know, also within these runner type events. My other issue with the cops and those runner events is that, oh gosh, and I missed the motherfucking checkpoint. The thing with the runner, as I was saying, is also that the races feel very scripted still, and I talked about before, you know, like the most exciting events, like you jump over an RV or over a large gap. That's like a cutscene, it's not you doing it. But also, those runner missions, like, there's the checkpoints. And I'm like, why, what's the justification of a checkpoint? I get it in the race, like you're on a time, or there's a track you have to follow, but why, if you're on the hunt, run from the police, would you need to follow a prescribed route? Like, it really takes away from a lot of the fun. I would have preferred the normal Need for Speed sort of conditions of, you know, you get a 1-0 level and then you gotta lose the 1-0 level and find your own route and cool down place. Yeah, and so, at some Need for Speed there were specific cool down places, and others it was just sort of, you got away. Like that spinning shit, ugh. But yeah, I just think the way the cops were using this game was totally mishandled.
let the city dump some junk along our racetrack for kicks. Try to survive.
It's my last attempt because I have to have breakfast and go to work, but I kind of woke up and I'm like, damn, I want to play this because I was watching those DSP fails. And I'm like, wow, for the first time I actually sympathize with the guy who, you know, for instance, in GTA, would refuse to use like the simple tool of drive-by shooting and would like spend hours. I remember that mission in San Fierro with the pimp where all you have to do is like drive by the car, and instead like he goes like damn near halfway to Los Santos because he doesn't realize that, oh yeah, you could actually inflict damage on this car by looking to your side and firing. Imagine that. But yeah, once I'm kind of getting where this dude is coming from, these races are kind of frustrating. But the good news is when I get frustrated, I just turn off the game and come back later. I think, you know, instead of, oh god, I've gotten it. How come I can't stay straight? Seriously. It was funny at first, but now it's not funny anymore. Oh, that wasn't bad. Hold on. Let me check some. Here we go. Much better. I think, where am I going? I'm going straight and then to the right, I think. Nope, left. These races, man, they're just unforgiving.
Just saying hi.
I lost my rhythm, really. I'm just slipping and sliding. I'm not doing anything, motherfucker.
Keep at it.
I just feel like the normal control I have is completely gone. And I'm at the whim of this unforgiving handling, man. Again. So now I'm thinking I don't want to mash that accelerate.
Yeah, baby.
Hold on, let me stay quiet. I'm in this one somehow.
Nice to see you, chaps, but I've got
Here's
places
the turn.
to be.
Oh man. Fuck this.
All
Fuck
bagged
it.
up and not even a win.
Oh yeah. My car is much better than this race. But I'm not.
had the city dump some junk along our racetrack for kicks. Try to survive.
So you can just tell the city to do something.
Alright, this is the run. I can feel it. This is the run. It's funny that business doesn't happen at the beginning with them pushing me and sabotaging me.
You want to do whatever the hell you want. That's the dream, right?
Yep, we just can't go off road there. That's another reason, another advantage of being in first and having to deal with all that dust.
Taking the lead. Don't try and stop.
Stop with that commentary though. I don't want this dude to say one damn word to me. Just be a character in the game that doesn't speak. Josh.
Kidding me.
Okay, I gotta remember to stay to the left somehow after that.
Just a scratch.
Goodness, I hate these off-road races. Much better angle there by Cletus. It's just impossible to stay straight on some of this shit.
What's your problem?
I'm gonna go off again, aren't I? Can turn there, bye. I'm done.